how do fields of frequency impact our biology? Let's get started. This is the fifth and final video in a series of 5 looking at how quantum biology, a new and emerging field, can be used to impact our health. We've talked about water and how it acts as a backdrop for this frequency information, able to capture, store, and emit this information. We've talked about light. We've talked about the frequency of sound and how that impacts our biology. And in this video, we're going to be talking about how fields of frequency, how fields of electricity, how a magnetic field, how electromagnetic field, scalar waves, how these all have a predictable and repeatable influence on our biology. Now, what we learned in school and what's currently being taught in medical schools is this chemical mechanical model where we have a key floating around trying to find its receptor. When it does, it unlocks that biological action. Now, we know this is true and does happen within the body. We also know that we are made up of trillions and trillions of cells, and each one of these cells is completing over 100,000 tasks each second. Hundreds and thousands of tasks happening each second within that cell. And mathematically, the current model cannot explain how that happens at such a high rate of efficiency. This just can't be explained with our current model of biology, and that's where quantum biology comes in. It can explain the speed and efficiency and high volume of reactions that are happening throughout our body with quantum mechanics, with quantum tunneling, with superposition, with quantum coherence and entanglement, and this idea that frequency can be guiding, educating, and informing our biology in a place where chemical, mechanical models cannot. This quantum biological understanding of our body opens up a completely new perspective of how we can impact our health and wellness. Now, when we're looking at electricity, we have to talk about the pioneers like Robert O. Becker and how he found that certain electrical fields induced wound healing and regeneration. And this is something that is currently being used in the mainstream medical model. Different electrical fields are being used to enhance wound healing and regeneration in the body. We know that magnetic fields do the same thing and can be utilized to impact our health. And this makes sense, again, when we look at that new phase of easy structured water throughout the body that can be influenced by electrical, magnetic, electromagnetic fields. Now, when we look at the more recent research of Michael Levin and how these electrical fields seem to be guiding this cell differentiation, it gets even more fascinating. We know from the research that our cells are communicating with electromagnetic frequency. The electromagnetic frequency of that cell is guiding its migration, its behavior, and its differentiation, meaning how that stem cell becomes an ear or an elbow. That is guided by that electromagnetic frequency or field. This makes interventions like pulse electromagnetic frequency, microcurrent, frequency medicine of all kinds, it paints them in a new light, a new understanding of how this might be working in the body. The idea that our body responds to this language of frequency, whether it's light, sound, whether it's electromagnetic frequency, scalar information, which has been shown to influence our immune system, whether it is the frequency of our thoughts and coherence. HeartMath Institute has done incredible research showing that when our heart and our brain are in coherence, meaning when two or more things are working as one, working as a collective, just like you would imagine in an ocean wave where you have many different molecules of water working as one collective wave, right? The same idea applies to our living system. And that is what the HeartMath Institute has done such an incredible job showing, is that when our heart and brain work in coherence, it creates a ripple that goes throughout our biology and changes our biological status. This idea that we can entrain our biology with our thoughts, with our conscious intention, with ideas of love, of gratitude, with a meditative state is absolutely incredible. Bruce Lipton talks about this often, how our biology doesn't know if this is something that's happening in real time versus if this is something that we are thinking, and how our thoughts have a primary role in our biological health and wellness. And this is what this fourth pillar of quantum biology, frequency, is all about. It's about how electrical fields, how our conscious train of thought, how our subconscious train of thought, a magnetic field, these scalar waves, electromagnetic waves, how all of these things seem to be acting as an invisible blueprint to how our body is working and functioning. Now, it doesn't negate that chemical mechanical model that we learned in school. It adds a deeper understanding that this frequency language is what may be giving rise to that chemical mechanical model, and that it does have an important and primary impact on our health and our wellness. This is the fifth and final video, so if you haven't seen the other four, I break it down in a great overview of how we can be using quantum biology for our health. It goes into the second video about water, the third video about light, the last video before this, the fourth video, all about sound, breaking it down into what I call the pillars of quantum biology for health: light, water, sound, and frequency. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like this content as much as I like sharing it, make sure you subscribe, because I'm going to continue to share this information in the hope that it opens up new ideas, new paradigms, new perspectives, new tools for how we can impact our health and wellness. Thank you so much for joining me.